All right, so this has gotten off to a really good start. I've been sitting here for the past hour trying to get my audio correct, and um, let's just put it this way: I feel like a total idiot right now. I've been sitting here for the past hour, like I said, and my mic audio was very low, so I text Dylan, Two Savage for Democrats, and he was trying to help me out with it, and then I realized my volume was on one in Windows Media Player. Yeah, I went to school at ECU for 2 years. These past couple of years for information technology, and you'd think I would know what I'm doing. Breathe. Okay. So, with that being said, my name is Justin. Welcome to my show. I don't have a title for it yet. I'll think of a title later. This is just gonna be called episode 1. Um, but yeah, my name's Justin. I run the Unapologetic Patriot Instagram page, and yeah, this is my first attempt at trying to podcast. So this is gonna be kind of awkward-ish, but yeah. I asked you guys to comment a couple of topics for when I run out of things to say. So I'm just gonna pull that post up right now. All right, so I wanted to start this off with a story from work that literally just happened. But I work at a undisclosed restaurant during the summer. We had a customer come in earlier today, and it personified everything I hate about Islam. So this lady, or she calls, and she's very hard to understand, and she sounds, she's, I automatically know that she's Middle Eastern by the way she's talking and the accent, and no, it's not racist. It's just a fact that I know what a Middle Eastern sounds like. Um, and she's very hard to understand. So she puts on her, I assume her daughter, who's been born and raised here in the United States, so she doesn't have an accent at all. So I get their order, and they come to pick it up, and it's the wife and the husband that come in, and the wife's in a full burqa, like literally face covered, everything. I only see her eyes, and she's looking down. She's in a very submissive kind of in a no talking at all. The husband does all the talking, and I get them their food and whatnot, and he pays for everything, and he kind of just shoves the pizza in her hands and says, hold that. And like he was like an aggressive shove too. And but yeah, I that just personifies everything I hate about Islam. They treat their women like total shit. They treat LGBT community like total shit, and yet the left still wants to defend them to the very last straw. It gets on my nerves. As you can see, I'm wearing my 2016 Stanley Cup champion uh, hat, and I just watched us lose in Game 5 to the Washington Capitals 4-2. I'm not worried. Nah, I'm not worried. Oh yeah, I wrote an article for the typical liberal Grants page called "Outnumbered," and it was tips for incoming right leaning or pretty much anybody that's not a liberal. Tips for you when you're about to head into college. I just wanted to elaborate off of a couple of things there. Let's see. When you when you make your decision to go to college, don't do it based off of politics. Please don't. Unless, I mean, of course, if you don't want to be in Berkeley, then don't go to Berkeley. The choice is ultimately up to you, but I say don't make your choice off of politics at all. Like, I had a friend who committed to Liberty University because he said that it's the only conservative university in the United States, which is total bullshit. Don't make your decision off of politics. And number two, when you get to college, be on your A game, because I have faced let's see, my very last day of class, I got into a debate. Last day of class meaning like not final exams, but like before final exams happen. And we got into a debate about capitalism versus communism, because there's a in my political theory class, there was about 3 or 4 socialists in there. They were proud burnouts and everything. So yeah, and in that class especially, we had debates daily, and thank God my teacher was not a liberal. She was amazing. She's a classical liberal, which is very different than the modern day version. And there's a book in there that I recommended, and it's called oh god, it was it's the book by Ben Shapiro. You can find I'll link my article down in the description. I give the title of the book. I forgot the name, but it's by Ben Shapiro, and it's how to win a debate, how to destroy leftists. It's like 11 steps to destroy leftists in debate. It's a fantastic book, and I recommend reading pretty much everything that Ben Shapiro has written because he's a great man. He's so smart. He knows what he's talking about. Um, yeah. And I didn't buy into that bullshit that the alt right was doing during the election, calling him a cuck. I believe that like the alt right calling people a cuck is just as bad as the left calling people racist. It's just a cop out because you can't form an argument. But yeah, that's my opinion. Antifa. What hasn't been said about Antifa? They're a bunch of fucking losers. Probably all live with their mommies. Uh, yeah. Let's just say it this way: if the Civil War, if Civil War Part Two broke out, it wouldn't last long. It would not last long. One person here says arguing with the enemy, which means debating. The thing is, in today's society, people don't want to debate. They just want to throw ad hominems at each other and call it a day. Um, I like me personally, I'm horrible at debating. That's why you don't see me debating people like Dylan and Capitalist Move or yeah, Dylan and whoever he debates with. I think it's Capitalist American, if I'm not mistaken. You don't see me doing a lot of debating. I'm leaving that to the experts like Ben Shapiro, who just roast and grill uh, leftists on a daily basis. Like, and people believe that if you can't debate, you don't really believe in the things you believe in, which is bullshit. I believe what I believe in. It's just I'm not very good at articulating my ideas. Um, I'm good at making memes about my ideas. You guys can attest to that. All 101,000 of you can attest to that. I wanted to cover a couple things. First off, Jimmy Kimmel. Dylan covered this in a video, and it's been all over. It's been on Crowder. It's been on Ben Shapiro's show. I believe Gavin McInnes covered it at one point. Okay, so Jimmy Kimmel essentially goes on a monologue, like most late night comedians do, but this was more of a serious tone, and he told the story of his newborn kid, who was born with some kind of heart defect that needed an emergency operation, and everything's fine. The kid pulled through and everything, but then he like there's two separate clips going around on the internet. There's the one clip that everybody wants you to see, like Jimmy Kimmel and everybody, like all the news outlets want you to see, and it's just the story that he told, the him crying, telling the story about his kid almost dying and stuff like that, which as a human being you connect with that, and that's why it pisses me off about this next one, where there's another clip that's the extended clip of him going on a tangent about healthcare. He basically goes on a tangent saying that no matter how much you make, you should be covered by health insurance, and that your kid shouldn't have to die because you couldn't pay for it. That in and of itself is kind of a bullshit claim, because the only qualification that you need to meet in America in an emergency situation to receive treatment is if you're in America. It doesn't matter if you're in an emergency situation such as Jimmy Kimmel's son was. You automatically get the operation that you need, and the cost goes on to somebody else. Especially in Jimmy Kimmel's situation, they were at one of the biggest children's hospitals in America, by which the one of the greatest surgeons in America did the operation. And do you realize how many donations go into those children's hospitals every year? Especially the one in Los Angeles, because you got all these celebrities who want to donate to the children's hospital to make themselves seem like humans, which they're not. That's just my opinion. It's pretty disgusting that Jimmy Kimmel used his son, almost died, child, to push his own political agenda. That was disgusting. Um, oh, and the stuff going on with Stephen Colbert, it's so freaking satisfying. Um, it's so satisfying watching the left eat each other. Like, like, like one leftist steps out of line and says something homophobic, and he gets eaten alive by his own side. It's so glorious. Confederate flag. Okay, this is kind of an issue. Like, I used to be in my early years, like 12, 13 years old. I used to be full on red. I went through a redneck phase. I've never been a redneck. I've lived in the suburbs my entire life. I've been a middle class kid. I've never had to work in a field or anything like that. I've only gone hunting once in my life. Yeah, I've only gone hunting about once in my life. I've gone. I mean, I go fishing. I mean, but who doesn't go fishing? Off topic, but the Confederate flag. This is a very libertarian issue for me. I believe I don't agree with it. I believe that it was flown by a group of people who wanted to keep who had good intentions in the fact that they wanted states' rights, which I totally believe in, but also they had horrible intentions that they wanted to keep slavery going on, which is terrible. And also they were treasonous. They rebelled against the Union, which I don't agree with. Confederate flag. I believe that you have the right to fly it if you want to. You can wear it. You can tattoo it. You can do whatever you want with it. I don't care. You have the right to fly whatever flag you want. All right, there's a thing that I saw that they might be including female characters in the new Call of Duty game, which I can see how it rubs people the wrong way, seeing as it was nothing but men who went and fought and died in World War II. But I really don't care. It's a video game. Get over it. But yes, let's talk about this. So Hillary reemerged the other day, and essentially she blamed everything. She blamed her failures in the election on pretty much everything but herself.
It wasn't a perfect campaign. There is no such thing. But I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off.
So it's my fault, but it's not my fault. That's essentially what she's saying. So nothing's changed with Hillary. She's the run-of-the-mill politician that will say and do anything to get herself in the good graces of her constituents. The French election. Okay, that's a tough one because I'm not really educated in the French election. All I know is that Marie Le Pen is the very nationalist. She's very nationalist candidate like Trump was. But I've also heard that she has very left-leaning. She's very right-leaning in social issues, but very left in economic issues, which I don't agree with. But yeah, I I don't really. All I know is Macron is kind of like the establishment candidate, like their Hillary. So if Le Pen wins, this will be a big shakeup for Europe, and you can guarantee that after Le Pen gets in, she will make a referendum just like the UK did to leave the EU, and if France leaves the EU will crumble. Um, which will be great. I really want to see the EU crumble. Okay, there was a topic that Shapiro covered on his podcast this past week, and it was essentially that these parents are letting their 2 to 8-year-old kids transition from being a female to a male or vice versa. This is utterly ridiculous. When you're 2 years old, you shouldn't be thinking about what gender you are. You shouldn't. All you should be thinking about is what you're gonna play next. Have the capacity to make that decision for yourself until you're like 18 or 19. Even then, the brain's still fully developing. So even then, you will have regrets when you if you transition, which is why the transgender suicide rate is so high. People have regrets after transitioning and making this big leap in their life. So to do this to a kid is just fucked. It's just fucked up. And I don't agree with it. And these parents that do this should lose custody of their kids. If I'm being honest. Speaking of losing custody of your kids, Daddy of 5 lost custody of 2 of their kids, which thank God. I'm a big Philip DeFranco fan, so when I saw that video of his when he first exposed Daddy of 5, I wanted to punch the wall. After seeing what that family does to their little kids and call it a prank and then earn money off of it, oh man, especially what they're doing to that poor kid Cody. Good God, man. But I'm glad that the biological mother of Cody and his sister finally got custody back, and hopefully the authorities will sort through all the footage and find more so that they lose custody of their other kids, and so those other kids won't have to go through hell like they have been. It's just ridiculous, and I just hope the worst for those 2 pieces of garbage. Let's see, the relationship between libertarianism and conservatism. I'm assuming how these 2 get along. Conservatives and libertarians can find a lot of middle ground on a lot of things, and I think that's what there's a lot of things that we can find middle ground on, like guns, freedom of speech, taxes. Actually, libertarians want no taxes. Conservatives want very little tax. And that, like, the disagreements are pretty petty. Conservatives don't agree with marijuana legalization. They think it's going to corrupt the youth, which is kind of ridiculous. Libertarians don't really care about abortion. Libertarians really want the government out of pretty much every aspect of your life, essentially. And it's very vague. It's a very thin, vague line. A lot of things. So, well, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this first episode of my podcast. You can tell it's my first episode. I kind of fumble on my words. I was really unorganized, but I really hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys later. Go follow my Instagram page, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.
Is there something left for me to save in the wreckage of